Hi again for USCFsales.com. This is Steve Lopez with another ChessBase 11 tip for you. We've been looking at material searches in ChessBase 11, how to find games by the material that is on the board at a particular time during the game. There are other tweaks and toggles in the material search dialog that I'd like to show you today. Today we're going to talk about bishops, special properties of bishops in particular endgames, strategic properties of bishops. How you get there, first of all, as we've seen in previous videos, to open the search mask is you right-click on the database you wish to search. In this case, it's the Mega Database 2011. Select Search to bring up the search mask, and I just tend to click Reset just to start a new search. Go to the Material tab. We have a couple different little boxes here that deal with bishops. A couple different things that happen in endgames. First of all, you have opposite colored bishops against same colored bishops. Now, this is a little strange. It throws people when you first see it, and that is the way this is worded is not exactly quite the way somebody from Great Britain or the U.S. would word this. Okay, but what you have is opposite bishops. That means opposite colored bishops. Somebody, when they translated from German to English, got a little mixed up and thought that the opposite of opposite is even. They were thinking of even and odd, not opposite and same. This should be same bishops instead of even. But that's what this means. If you like to find all the games in which the players have opposite colored bishops, you can use these toggles to do it. But the first thing that you have to do is make sure that you're searching for bishops by using these buttons to put numbers in. Now, obviously, you can't have opposite colored bishops if all the bishops are on the board, and you can't have opposite colored bishops if one player doesn't have any bishops. So it kind of locks you in to what you have to set for the bishops. You just need one bishop for each side. So, as a shortcut, just click on the picture of the bishop, and that makes 1, 1, 1, 1. So we're looking for all the games in which each side has a bishop. And now we can click opposite bishops, click OK. ChessBase will search the database and pull up all the games in which the two players have opposite colored bishops with one bishop left on the board. We can wait a moment or two. This is actually a pretty quick search. Within 10 seconds we'll have all of our results here. And there we are, it's done. Just scroll down somewhere in the database, start clicking on games. Sure enough, light squared bishop, dark squared bishop, light squared bishop, dark squared bishop, light squared bishop, dark squared bishop, etc. Every game you click on, each player will have one bishop apiece, and they will be on opposite colored squares. Very important strategic motif when you're studying endgames, and that's how you can find these games in ChessBase 11. In fact, that's what you would use this for. If you're reading an endgame book or watching a DVD on the endgames or doing a ChessBase DVD tutorial here in ChessBase talking about opposite colored bishop endings, and you'd like to see more examples than what is provided in the book or on the DVD or in the product, you can go in there and find them for yourself. And there's plenty of them in the Mega Database 2011. We have 59,158 games in which there are opposite colored bishops. Conversely, we can go in here, leave these set at one apiece, uncheck opposite, click even bishops. What that means is same colored bishop. Bishops on the same color square. Click OK. And again, the search takes just a few seconds, less than 30 seconds. To search almost 5 million games. Lower right hand corner, of course, gives you the progress bar for your search with how far along it's gone and approximately how much time is left. And now it's done. Scroll down, click on some games. Sure enough, light square, light square, light square, light square, dark square, dark square. The bishops are on squares of the same color. Once again, another endgame motif worth studying. How does this play out? And of course, no book, no magazine, no DVD tutorial with an instructor on the screen telling you what's going on is going to be able to cover 82,613 games. Just another use for a very large database of games. Additional material to help you in your chess studies. That's what ChessBase 11 is all about, finding this material, helping you get to it quickly and easily. Another bishop toggle, going back to the search mask, is good bishop versus bad bishop. Now, this one's a little bit more nebulous in the results. Generally, a bad bishop is a bishop, in general, locked behind its own pawns. Not always, though. The short definition is a good bishop is a bishop that's on the opposite color square to most of its pawns. A bad bishop runs on the same color square that most of its pawns are on. So let's see what we get here. One bishop apiece, and we'll click good bishop. You know what we'll do? Instead, I just want to have one side have a bishop, and we'll have one side has a good bishop. And we'll click OK, and we'll see what happens. Get a bunch of games. Again, screaming through this pretty quick. Within 10 to 15 seconds, we'll have all of our results, and we can enjoy the games. All right, let's scroll down. And here we go. Good bishop. The one pawn is on a dark square. The bishop is on a light square. So it's a good bishop. Same story here. All of the black pawns are on dark squares. The bishop's on light squares. Same story here. All the pawns are on light squares. The bishop on a dark square. So that's it. That's all there is to it. Very simple. And conversely, we can go back to the search mask and select bad bishop instead. And now we'll see games in which one side has a bad bishop. And of course, this would be the converse. This would be a bishop that is on the same color square as most of its own pawns, whether or not it's locked in behind them or not. I mean, sometimes a quote-unquote bad bishop isn't too bad if it's outside the pawn chain. Search is done. And here we go. We have two black pawns on light-colored squares, bishop on a light-colored square. This apparently happens at the end of the game. We'll jump to the end and see what we've got. Sure enough, light-squared bishop, light-squared pawns. Light-squared bishop, three of the pawns are on light squares. Light-squared bishop, most of the pawns are on light squares, but this is one of those cases where the bishop is not too bad. As long as it doesn't get trapped back where it's at, it's ahead of the pawns, it's not locked in behind the pawn chain. So this isn't too hateful, but by the strict definition, this is a bad bishop. And here we have all of the white pawns are on dark squares, so we have a technically bad bishop, but we have a wide open board, so it's really not that bad at this point. But that's the technical definition. So you can see all kinds of examples where a bishop is on a certain color square and its own pawns are on the same color square. Whether or not that bishop is really, really bad or not, you've got these games that have all kinds of definitions of bad bishop. Bishop, not too bad in this game. The one we looked at a minute ago where the black pawn was in front of its own pawns, that wasn't too hateful. Then you'll find other games, though, of course, in which a bishop is just locked in behind its own pawns and has very limited mobility. So you'll find all kinds of games by using this toggle in the search mask. So very simply, just right-click, search, go to the Material tab, and you have these toggles for different bishop motifs. Primarily in the endgame, just make sure that you put some kind of quantity in for bishops, because if you set all the numbers to 0, as I've done here, and try to use one of these toggles, you'll come up with nothing. You won't get any games at all. So just be sure when you use the bishop toggles, make sure you have some number put in here for the bishops in this part of the dialog. A couple more tweaks in this particular dialog we'll look at the next time around before we move on to maneuver searches in the search mask. So until then, for USCFsales.com, I'm Steve Lopez. Thank you for watching.